welcome everyone. Thank you for rating me in advance. How many people have read Srimad Bhagavatam? The whole Bhagavatam? Anybody read the whole one? The whole thing? Anybody read part of it? Okay, cool. Jai. So the Bhagavatam, greatest thing, it's the greatest book in the universe. So it's the avatars, when they read it, they cry over it so much that they know that the people have to write it before they read it, because it's all going to be washed away from their tears, right? And so we're going to speak from the 12th canto. This is the end, the last part of the Bhagavatam. So for those who aren't so acquainted with the Bhagavatam, the dialogue with the king, pure devotee king, is cursed to die by a bird. The bird's gonna, and then he gets cursed to die in a pretty rough way. And so here we are at the last part of it, and Vyasadeva, who compiles the Vedas, his son and this king are having a talk, because he's going, okay, what do I do now? Was it 7 days, no eating, sleeping, drinking, anything? He just hears this great sage, and that's what the whole Bhagavatam is. Quite amazing. We all know that, well, I assume we all know that we're going to die. The bodies are going to die. So we better, if we're reading the whole Bhagavatam, is in the preface, where this is what I read. I have somehow knew that from previous studies, before I came to the Krishna consciousness, that God realization is where it's at. That's going to really do it for us. We realize God, we realize everything. Everything is finished. So, in the purport, can I get the first part of the Bhagavatam? I'm so sorry, over there on the left, unless you see a other part. Yeah, the blue. Thanks. I'll just read it, because this is really beyond profound. I just, picked up this book and went, and I opened it up, and lo and behold, Prabhupada, pure devotee of the Lord, who Krishna backs up everything that he says. And I have proof of that, because Prabhupada said, if you just focus on this one activity of book distribution, you never have to worry about Lakshmi, money. And never have to worry about money. Never had to worry about money. Even distributing books in Mexico or wherever else, never had to worry about money. Miracles, one after another. Second I have in my heart, I'm a little concerned about my funds. Bam, somebody just comes in and tosses me big bills. Like, that covered it? Okay, cool. Every single time, 100%. The second I have the slightest inclination, out of the woodwork, just somebody comes by. Really. So, Prabhupada, and Krishna backs him up. Backs up Prabhupada. So it says, the reading matter is so arranged that with the translations and purports, so that one is sure to become a God-realized soul. Sure to become a God-realized soul at the end of finishing the first 9 cantos, 12 cantos. So is sure. In other words, it's a guarantee. If we read this sequentially, up to the 9th canto, guaranteed to be a God-realized soul. So what we're doing is starts with looking at the feet and going up to the face of Krishna. Gradually, all works out just perfectly. So I hope that inspired anybody to consider reading the whole Bhagavatam sequentially with purports. It really does a trick. So here we are, 12th canto. So he's about to leave his body, Mars Parikshit's about to have a bird. What kind of bird is he called? Takshaka? You used to call that snake bird. That's right. Snake bird is about to exhume his body with a bite. Done. Body's done. So he's given him some first of all, the whole Bhagavatam isn't just, it's so many things. It gives you full satisfaction. Prabhu, what is your name?
Rick, Dr. Rick.
You remember me?
I do.
Oh, no, so nice to see you.
Landscaping, right?
Yeah.
I used to take devotees out and work with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing me.
Nice
I was going to say something. I didn't know if it would be
so nice to see you. Wow. John, glad you're still coming around.
Wow. You made it, my day.
You're so sweet. Hey, so here he's talking about the age that we live in first. And it's pointing out that this is the worst of the ages, the Kali Yuga age. So I think you all know this, but just to kind of lead into this is similar to the class I gave last time here. So, but still, it's so important. When there is a predominance of cheating, lying, sloth, sleepiness, violence, depression, lamentation, bewilderment, fear, and poverty, that age is Kali, the age of the mode of ignorance. Because of the bad qualities of this age of Kali, human beings will be short-sighted, unfortunate, gluttonous, lustful, and poverty-stricken. It goes on and on. Cities will be dominated by thieves. The Vedas will be contaminated by speculative interpretations of atheists, and political leaders will virtually consume the citizens. And the so-called priests and intellectuals will be devotees of their bellies. The brahmacharis will fail to execute their vows. And women will become much smaller in size. They will speak harshly, exhibit qualities of thievery, deceit, unrestrained audacity. Businessmen will engage in petty commerce, earn their money by cheating. Kali Yuga men will be wretched and controlled by women. They will reject their fathers, brothers, other relatives, and friends. It goes on and on and on. Cows will be abandoned or killed when they stop giving milk. Uncultured men will accept charity on behalf of the Lord and will earn their livelihood by making a show of austerity and wearing a mendicant's dress. And it will continue, gradually the people will appear like ghostly, haunted creatures. It gets really rough. So, we're already seeing kind of some of this, right? Already happening here and there. In Kali Yuga, people's intelligence will be diverted by atheism. And then we have, in Kali Yuga, the objects, places, and even individual personalities are all polluted. The Almighty Personality Godhead, however, can remove all such contamination from the life of one who fixes the Lord within his mind. So here he's saying, terrified, about to die, a man collapses on his bed. Although his voice is faltering and he is hardly conscious of what he is saying, if he utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the reaction of his fruitive work and achieve the supreme destination. But still, people in the age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada said, we're here to take a few good people back home to Godhead. So maybe not everybody will be like, knocking on the doors of the Hare Krishna temple to attend programs. And then it continues, and you'll see my train of thought here. If a person hears about, glorifies, meditates upon, worships, or simply offers great respect to the Supreme Lord, who is situated within the heart, the Lord will remove from his mind the contamination accumulated during many thousands of lifetimes. And just as fire applied to gold removes any discoloration caused by traces of other metals, Lord Vishnu within the heart purifies the minds of the yogis. By one's engaging in the processes of demigod worship, austerity, breath control, compassion, bathing in holy places, strict vows, charity, and chanting of various mantras, one's mind cannot attain the same absolute purification as that achieved when the unlimited personality of Godhead appears within one's heart. Therefore, fix your mind on the Supreme Lord within your heart. Maintain this concentration upon the Lord, and at the time of death, you will certainly attain the supreme destination. My dear king, the personality of God is the ultimate controller. He is the supreme soul and the supreme shelter of all beings. When meditated upon by those about to die, he reveals to them their eternal spiritual identity. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. So we have, I forget how fortunate I am. You know, that's kind of easy to do. Take things for granted or whatever sometimes, maybe a little bit, but look how fortunate we are. We're coming out of this, we're in this horrible age, but we're coming out of it, going back to the spiritual world, simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Is the topmost thing to do. Topmost service to Krishna. And the purport's really cool here because it leads me into my next train of thought here. After mentioning the innumerable faults of this age of Kali, Sukadeva Goswami now mentions its one brilliant aspect. Just as one powerful king can kill innumerable thieves, one brilliant spiritual quality can destroy all the contamination of this age. It is impossible to overestimate. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Especially in this fallen age. So, and then Prabhupada goes on to say, he quotes a verse here, in this way, the most perfect penance to be executed in this world is the chanting of the holy name of Lord Hari. Especially in this age of Kali, one can satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu by performing Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. Did those new people believe? Oh, smart. Yeah. In conclusion, massive propaganda. So here Prabhupada concludes the chapter. So it's quite a chapter. I gave you parts of it, but, some theme here. Thus, in conclusion, massive propaganda should be made all over the world. So this is Prabhupada's way of concluding his conclusion of the chapter, which I think is really cool. Prabhupada relates it back to preaching. Like Prabhupada's guru said, if you have a life, preach. How many people are getting up there in age like me? Like sometimes I have this feeling like, oh my God, I'm still alive. I woke up this morning. I mean, how is it, right? I don't know if anybody's up there in age here, but sometimes you just don't know if you can have another breath, right? Yeah. 75. I mean, you're looking great. 59. But I really did some number on my life. So I don't know. My friend, he died at 51. So I'm still somehow here. But really, when you get older, you don't know when you're going to go. It could be any time. There's a heart attack, bam, finished. Or whatever. You just stop breathing. I mean, sometimes I'm like, breath, hello, breath. Hello, I can't breathe. And it's really weird. But you get so much pain. Anyway. Here it says, in conclusion, massive propaganda. So if you have life, preach. So I got life. Woke up this morning. All right. Got to preach. So, in conclusion, massive propaganda should be made all over the world to induce people to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, by which human society can be rescued from the dangerous ocean of the age of Kali. So this is like going. I heard this one story of a guy who worked really hard, 20 years roughly. And then he takes all of his savings and he goes over to Las Vegas and he puts every cent of it on the roulette wheel. Every cent. It was like $1 million. Every cent. And he won. But he didn't play anymore. That was it. Okay. So Kali Yuga is kind of like that. It's high stakes. It's super, super high stakes. If you jump into the Hare Krishna world, then you can very quickly, easily go back home to Godhead if you apply yourself correctly. Like 3 cherries lining up. Unlimited jackpot. My buddy who I was distributing books at best college in Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, got the name of it. And this Chinese boy comes up, and he's just like really riveted, and he just sits down in a full lotus, I think, and just said, questions. And so I asked one question after another. I thought that he was either crazy or really, really amazing. I mean, one of the two, Jimmy. He's now Jagat Tattva, something like that, Tatra.
He's a dear friend of mine.
Prabhu, yeah. So he, so I just, after about an hour of this cute kind of communication, I'm like, this never rarely happens. And then I just said, well, is Dad interested? If you want to just jump into my van, just finish up your journey here on the road. Real quick, real fast. We can just go around, distribute books. Okay. Okay. Sure. Well, here's where you go. And he took him to his apartment, just took all this stuff, put it in the van, at least, parts that he needed. And his parents were considering calling the FBI. Oh, it was really rough. But anyways, about 6 months, he was awesome, incredibly awesome. I mean, he is awesome, super bright and capable. He chanted the first day. He chanted 16 rounds straight through, and really good. Anyway, and he's never done regular principles. But anyways, he said, later he texted me, a couple of years later after he really super joined, went to India and everything, initiated. He says, man, so glad I made that move. I knew it was the right move, and I've hit the jackpot. Hitting this real jackpot, I'm not that you have to move into the temple to hit the jackpot, but like really sincerely taking to this chanting and Sankirtan, spreading of Krishna consciousness. And then if we don't, it's really, really rough in Kali Yuga. It's not like we're going to get, how many people are going to go from here to a higher material planet? How many people in Kali Yuga? It's probably not many. I mean, just see what's going on. Anyway, so the stakes are high. So if we have life, we should preach. So in sharing this, as Prabhupada says, share this with the world, and try to help other people. Because, I mean, I know how my life was before I found out about the Hare Krishnas and everything, right? I mean, I'm sure almost everybody here fits into that category of really experiencing life without knowing about the chanting of Hare Krishna. So it's that way we should share it with others and help make everybody even more fortunate than us. That's actually the gopis' mood. And so on that note, I like what Prabhupada said about preaching. I have no personal qualification, but I am simply trying to satisfy my guru. That's all. My Guru Maharaj asked me that if you get some money, you print books. So there was a private meeting talking. Some of my important godbrothers also there. It was in Radhakund. So Guru Maharaj was speaking to me. Since we have got this Bug Bazaar marble temple, there have been so many dissensions, and everyone's thinking who will occupy this room or that room. I wish, therefore, to sell this. So this is Prabhupada's guru speaking to him like in a private, intimate discussion with Prabhupada, that he didn't have too much of that. Temple and the marble and print some books. Yes, so I took up this from his mouth that he is very fond of books. And he told me personally that if you get some money, print books. Therefore, I'm stressing this point. Where is book? Where is book? Where is book? So kindly help me. This is my request. Print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world. Then Krishna consciousness movement will automatically increase. So really simple modus operandi here. Get books, distribute them. And in spite of war, Srimad Bhagavatam will be distributed. We don't care about war. Our preaching business will go on. Simply read my books and repeat what I have written. Then your preaching will be perfect. This is such a nice book here. I think our books will never keep us in a poverty-stricken condition. This is the blessing of His divine grace, Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. He is very pleased that you are distributing so many books. And I am very pleased with your activities. Now continue and increase. Everyone will want our books. We will always have customers. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. This is really true. It's a magical thing. When you think at least for me, I think in my mind, on a material calculated level. But there is something far out going on when dealing with Lord Chaitanya's causeless mercy in this age. It's unbelievable what can take place at any moment, any time. And just being an instrument to propagate the Sankirtan mission, no better position in the universe, the entire universe. So, and then you open yourself up to all this watching these miracles unfold, literally unfold right before our eyes. And you never know what's going to happen at any moment. And we just keep that position of just being a Sankirtan devotee, here to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. When whatever capacity we can, we just devote our life to that. Then there's no better way to utilize your time. And then just being properly situated, then all the anxiety is gone, because the anxiety formulates from am I doing my dharma? And when we slightly don't do our dharma, then we've got tons of anxiety, reactions, and so forth and so on. And it always, in the material aspect, works out perfectly. Sleep better, I don't know. All the atoms Krishna's in control of. You can arrange them so that you can eat as much olive as you want, or whatever. It's all perfect. How kind of association, Of course, anybody can turn into anything at any moment. Krishna's mercy. But by sitting in the Sankirtan, when we're situated as a Sankirtan devotee, forevermore, or forever, just focused like that, then Krishna is just an instrument for Krishna. Everything works out. Always works out. Right? There's like no problems. Yeah. And I guess I should, at what time we're supposed to stop?
About
5 minutes?
no, usually go to like quarter till.
Okay. Well, let me ask some questions at this point, because I could talk about a variety of things. Sorry, I can babble all day long. Yeah.
Thank you. And my question is as a serious, trying to be a serious devotee. You mentioned, like dharma, and we have to do our dharma. And if we don't do our dharma, we find that we stress out and get all these crazy anxiety.
Where it all comes from, yeah.
And I experience that. Sometimes I find I have a lot to do in the day, and like I don't get something done, or it's just like kind of like I feel like I'm fighting an uphill battle a lot of the time. I want to do books, I want to do this, I have this service and that service, and sometimes it does, I get anxiety about it, and I feel like I'm failing. How do you get it? You just distribute books, but is there any advice you have on this, like how to get more focused and just get it done better, or service better?
I'm hearing what you're saying, but as I see you, you're doing a lot. And I think Vaisheshwara says, we might get discouraged in a day, we didn't get what we wanted done in that day. I wanted to get more done in that day, but it just didn't happen. We were sincere, we tried. But then he says, but if you look at what you did in a month, you go, oh, that's pretty good. And you look in a year, you're like, well, did I do that? Wow. So blow it up, the picture, and then see if everything is in that kind of light. But yeah, that's a sign of a totally purified, pure devotee. Uttama Adhikari never wastes a second. So, gradually improving that to where we're like, always trying to max it out for Krishna. But, relationships are important. Non-fanaticism is important. So many things. Chilling with others, people is important. So many things. Walk around like a crazy guy. I don't know. You know what my nickname was when I was in the Phoenix Temple? The Nazi Swami. Yeah, when I first joined, that was my nickname. The Nazi Swami. I was like just but that's, it fries people out, So, that's the just, I like the style here. You can see this temple every year just gradually growing. Not all temples are doing that. It's nice management, nice style, nice mode of operandi. So, don't be too where you're going to break. Stay in the stretch zone. You guys still have those, what do you call it? Your cars?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, at least in the old days, my wheel on the spinning thing, you got to get that up to like in between 17 and 22 miles an hour, and you hold it there for about 45 seconds. I don't know if they still do it. That's how it used to be. And you space out a little bit. He goes, you got to start over, man. The guy's fried out. You space out a little bit. I'll just start over again. Okay, I'll get it right this time. So you got the stretch zone is the ideal zone, but the too much zone is going to get fried. And the too little zone, too comfort zone, it's not so much productive. Kind of always focusing on the holy name. Never have a moment go by, ever catch yourself with never having a moment to where you're in that zone, you're hearing the holy name, you're really connected. Not thinking for a second, like I just caught myself today. I got in this pattern, when I got out of the van, I had so much to do, so many rounds still to do. And I got into that thinking. And I went, nope, I'm not going to go there because that drains so much energy. I wasn't thinking of Krishna. I was seeing this as a chore, burden, maybe even something, maybe not that bad, but didn't have my heart with it. And I said, no, I'm not going to go there. And I caught myself. So I just went back into chanting, getting in that nice space, and no problem. Yeah. It always works out.
Just one reflection is that, living as in Mayapur for 5 months, living with my spiritual master, and he's totally in that state of he doesn't wait, that doesn't get himself in that state of ever having, ever anxiety. It's always just thinking of Krishna. And it's really, amazing how devotees can get that way. So.
There's a story of a devotee that was too lax. And his guru says, hey, I'd like for you to go swim with me today. Come out to the Ganges with me today. That's what he said. Come out to the Ganges with me today. Oh, wow, I get to play with my guru. Yeah. So he goes out to the Ganges, they're swimming out, takes him out to the deep end, no longer can stand swimming away. And the guru just grabs his hair. Now, this doesn't happen in this con, but it's a story, okay? Grabs his hair, puts him on the water, and he's thinking, oh, man, guru's playing with me and everything. Yeah, this is great. And after all, he's like, and bubbles start coming up. And when the bubbles stop coming up, he brings them up. And goes, my God. And the guru caught his mind and said, what were you thinking right there? Air? Yes. Were you thinking of anything other than air at that time? Said, yes. That's how you have to be always in Krishna conscious. You always have to remember Krishna. Really, really happy. So that's the place to be always. I'm going to pass the Srimad Bhagavatam's test there and remember Krishna at the time of death, going it that way. But don't do it fanatically. Yes, Babu.
I'm really relishing this. And I just have a brief question for basically as I've discovered, I have a little bit more faith. And that's something that I see that you have dialed in, you have firm faith. How did you reach that?
I mean, I'm kind of just going to use my brain about things. I didn't always, but at some point in my life, I said, okay, I really got to get this right, So I read the books, all of Prabhupada's books, and I think it covers every single little synapse you could have regarding anything. So it rivets you on applying ourselves appropriately. and having good sadhana to have that intelligence. Not that I'm intelligent, but whatever I have of it, it can be accessed when we have a strong sadhana. So that's, really, I think it.
When did that happen for you? Did you start reading books, or how did you start reading books?
Well, kind of a long story, but I was just, I think I had a real, I moved into the temple, didn't read the books, as they say, but it wasn't so much, well, I guess it was always my fault. But yeah, and I went back to school to get my master's and figured, okay, I'm maybe not wanted or whatever I thought, and living in the temple, then I'll just make $1 million and give it to Food for Life or something. But along the way, I was so bored. Oh my God. And I kept doing spiritual practices and stuff. And then I moved into another ashram, and they ended up kicking me out too. And then I said, well, all I got left is the Hare Krishna. And everything's coming to an end. It's kind of like the Battle of Kurukshetra is happening now, about to happen. Really is what it felt like. And I had to know what's going on at that point in my life. I was 33. Not that you have to wait that long. Don't wait that long. And I remember just reading the Bhagavad Gita and didn't move until it was read, pretty much. I went to the restroom. I think I took a rest for a little bit. And then I just read. And then everything all the pieces of the puzzle went together. And then I almost finished my thesis. I almost finished my master's in engineering and threw all the books in the garbage can and just picked up Prabhupada's books. Actually, I read Prabhupada's books along the way. And then once I read enough of Prabhupada's books, maybe I read them all at that point. And then before then I threw all of my school books. You don't have to do this, but it's just a little hardcore thing I was going through. And then I figured I'm just going to distribute Prabhupada's books instead of doing this engineering thing. Seems like a better way to help the world. Yeah.
So you're speaking about having a stretch zone. I guess what would you suggest for other grihastas that we have? To work, amazing, and also wanting to do service, keeping up with our rounds and reading my material life and my spiritual life.
This comes to my mind. Now, don't run with this fully, but I remember I was in a house program with Jai Advaita Swami, giving the talk, and somebody asked a similar question. And he basically asked, how is it possible to advance nicely, in Grihastha ashram? And he says one word, Vanaprastha. Basically, that's all. And we kind of got it, It's tough to do advance, and you should advance as much as you can. But he was basically making the point: make sure you take Vanaprastha. That was a heavy statement. We were all just silent for quite a while.
What does that mean exactly?
Make sure it's when the kids are done and everything, plan for, really, really taking strongly and do whatever you can, I think, until then. Much as you can till then, because you do have a lot of responsibilities.
And raising, if you have children, raising them to be also Krishna.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Somehow, it completely blows my mind when I meet people like yourself, actually, that can do what you do. Because, I can't imagine having time to do A, B, and C after I work a job and this and that and that. Oh my God. Anyway, I can't even imagine. So much easier just not doing that. But doing that, no problem. It's fine. No, it's just me. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. but I see you going to the programs. I see you even establishing at your home and so on, so many things. So obviously you're doing a lot. So just practically, I'm not saying I'm even in a better situation. So So because you are raising kids to become Krishna conscious, that's glorious. That's just as good as book distribution. So at time all I can think of is probably when, I mean, this is my fanaticism maybe coming out, but when you think it's maybe too much for the kids, we're going to read Krishna book. No, we're not going to go to the soccer game. Try to read the Krishna book. Try to make that bold step, unless the kids absolutely can't handle it. Whatever. But as much of that as you can do, the better. And the more material stuff, like I think Johnny or whatever, Krishna Das is going to be better if he learns some skills on soccer and then instead of reading Krishna book, I just strongly encourage you, because I see that kind of never ending. If they trying to minimize that is, I think, for them to also follow you. Perfect. Yeah, we have to do it that way. Prabhupada says kids are like like animals, I think, and they'll just do whatever. I think that's the word he used. They'll do just what the parents are doing. So, yeah. And if you're there chanting in the morning and not playing soccer, then they're gonna. That's okay. I'm sorry it's not so informed, but asking somebody like Vaishesh Guru or somebody like that, probably get a lot more out of it for that. Sorry. Any other comments and questions? Yes, please.
Thank you, Guru. Your words are very inspiring, and I really appreciate your like miraculous sort of encouragement of Krishna consciousness. It's really helpful. Help grow my faith. I was wondering with book distribution, like when you have the time when you haven't distributed a book in a while, and you're feeling kind of like shy about that. I was wondering if you could say something about that, or maybe share a story.
Sure, I just took 3 weeks off. I mean, it's been 3 years straight on, pretty much. So it's just like, okay. And it's freezing out and so forth and so on in most parts of the world, of the country. So, yeah, I needed a break to catch up on a lot of things. And I just started going out, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. And this week was rain day, and then Pima I was going to go to Pima, but they didn't let me set up a table there. Somebody else had my rolly bag, and my back's too fried to carry it on my back anymore. I mean, I have lots of cool excuses, but, and then I went out yesterday, finally got back in the saddle again, and it was uncomfortable. It wasn't fun either. It was, I mean, I shouldn't say it wasn't fun, but it was challenging for my mind. It was fun actually, but it was challenging. But I know that when I start letting those cases fly day after day, not every day, but like 5-6 days a week, I get in this zone where everything is perfectly wonderful. And so starting up again is like, I know I'm going to get that feeling. So I just forced myself to do it, because I had another 10 billion other excuses why I shouldn't go out today and yesterday. I know that's not right. Just being sincere about it and just plugging away. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, duty mode. You have to. There's not another option. We're not at that pure spontaneous place. So what is the step to make is you got to get to do my duty. My duty is to, carry out the orders of the spiritual master and apply myself appropriately. So by doing that, as he said, for a long time, we get into the spontaneous state. And we get glimpses of that along the way. Great.
Like not carrying, like I know I'm gonna like fumble over some of my words and stuff. I'm carrying, just going for it.
That's all completely no issue. That's the best time. Sankar Shandas Adhikari, he said, when you feel unqualified, that's when you're the most qualified. When I get those kind of feelings, it's the best. That's the best. I know that's going to be a great day, because I'm going to completely rely on Krishna. That's when the miracles really happen. Yeah, I know how to do all this. Let me show you. Nothing happens at all. Nothing until I go, Krishna. Then things happen. Oh, you need my help? You're not the doer? Okay. Well, yeah, sure. Here you go. Oh, yeah, that worked. Yeah, when you think you're the doer, forget it. You just got to do your duty. Even when you think you're the doer, okay, I think I'm the doer. And then gradually, Krishna just kind of cleans things up properly. Yeah, appropriately. Yes.
So earlier you mentioned about Dharma and how when we hear, we like get a strong reaction, or you can really.
Reading Prabhupada's books, I realized that this is, as Prabhupada says, the most important activity many, many times. And if you really want to please me, distribute my books, he says. So many things. So, and not to mention that, so Dasraj Prabhu was the temple president here when I was here. He encouraged me to distribute books. And when I finished, I was just about to finish the Gita. At the very end, it says, and no one is more dear to me than he who, preaches this message. So I asked Dasraj Prabhu, what does this mean? And he says, oh, that means book distribution. Thank God he said that. So I just finished that book, went to the book room, grabbed some books, and went out in the streets. And it's been like that pretty much since then. Not to mention that, but everybody's different. Like I remember when I had some issues and then I went to Dhanavir Goswami, I was stuck there or whatever we want to say. And I surrendered to him and he said, and I just said, well, what do you want me to do? And well, what's my service? And I was open to whatever. I was really attached to book distribution though. I was afraid, oh no, let me do something with the book. And he says, you have to distribute books. Like it's as if I don't have another option. My gurus also asked me to distribute. Gurus So it's all lining up for that. Prabhupada gave me an experience once where he told me, I think may have showed that with you last time I was here, where Prabhupada asked me to distribute books when I asked him for some service in essence. So, I mean, and it's just all, and Krishna really practically forces me out to distribute books. I mean, honestly speaking. I mean, it's crazy what he does. I remember wanting to sleep. I remember wanting to just take some rest. I mean, you get mental, whatever, you lazy, whatever. And I'm just gonna lie down here. It's almost raining out. It's probably gonna rain. You got some excuse. I just lie down. This truck comes right 2 feet away from my van, and then it has this thing that pounds and crushes the pavement because they want to reap right next to my van. Like, I can't handle this. I'm literally shaking because it's so loud. I'm like, after a while, I'm like, okay, I'm going, Krishna. I'm sorry. I guess you want me to go. This kind of thing regularly happening. It's bizarre. Yes, I'm sorry.
I was going to say that you're doing distribution so we have to get those strong visions from Srila Prabhupada, like readings or something.
I'll be honest with you. When I distribute a lot of books, oh my God. It's just indescribable. It's completely indescribable. What happens? When I distribute a lot of books. And it just makes me like a crack addict. I gotta get more of these books out. Like a crack addict, like literally like a crack addict. And just, at all costs. That kind of thinking. And it doesn't matter if I have to sleep on my head in 30-degree weather or whatever. It's just wow. In fact, one of my awesome experiences was my guru, not my guru, but other gurus who told me I shouldn't share these intimate things. What happens? But what happens is, I mean, just a fraction of that makes any material endeavor seem like insanity to actually pursue that in comparison. So, yeah, like anything. Well, whenever you do a lot of service, you get a lot of mercy. And that mercy comes in the form of watching Krishna's pastimes. That probably says there's a television set in the heart, you know. And when that mercy, you know, descends, you just enter into that zone where that Krishna conscious state. Best. It's nothing better. Probably says nothing gives the soul more ecstasy than hearing Krishna's pastimes. They're watching Krishna's pastimes.
Actually, like with my question, I was just wondering, it might be too broad of a question, but what is your favorite pastime, just your favorite aspect of the Veda? Like, is there an avatar of Krishna that you particularly were like fond of, or is there a story that brings you particular bliss that you're like, oh, Krishna?
When I was first joined, I remember having a lot of affinity for Narada Muni, thinking he's totally free, able to preach and just go anywhere he wants. I thought that was a great life.
Heavy too. He just comes in and he's kind of just like, oh, you're in the 5 modes of passion, you live like a dog, and then leaves. And you're just like,
Yeah.
Okay, you know, yeah, I guess I'm attached. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But I don't know if I have favorites anymore.
That's why.
Just to be honest.
It might be too hard of a question because that's what I find. It's like the more you read,
it's like all
unique. There's another character. You're like, how did this avatar overcome this aspect of reality? Like Kirtan just, because I just learned about Ravana, King Ravana, and the Battle of Ramayan. Kirtan was like crazy. Like Krishna was reading about the Ramayan, like they were reading about that and forgotten for thousands of years. That's how long, like old the Ramayan is. And then he told me the story of Nishpinga and Hiranyakashipu. And I know the story, but I didn't know how just like opulent and the portrayal of like the ends you'll go to try and preserve your ego, you know? And it's just crazy how the Vedas portray that. Like they can portray the aspects of bliss, like Vrindavan, and how effulgent it is, even to just like the blade of grass. And then they can totally express like how the matters they go through to be these demoniacs. Like around Kashipu, had like meditated for like thousands of years and was breathing through a skeleton. I'm like, wow, they just get more and more farther from the aspect of Krishna consciousness, and it's cool to see how they portray that.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering which was your favorite. But I like Ravana. He's really cool. He's really cool.
Wonderful. Glad you're getting that much nectar out of it. Yes.
Well, I'm sure you've mentioned this in previous classes, but what inspired you to do traveling Sankirtan as opposed to like
That's
sitting at
pretty
one
easy to
temple
say.
and just-
Right. Yeah. So I started here. I lived here for probably like 2 years. I got some training in LA, Brigupati Prabhu, Vijay Prabhu. And then I came back here and applied it. So what happens is you burn out areas. It's like a cow. It eats grass in a certain perimeter, and the grass is now this big, and it takes a lot to get a good meal, a lot of endeavor to get a meal out of that. So, but if you just go up across the pasture over there, the grass is this high, and you just have a nice munch. So I started to travel, go to new spots, and then that just became kind of burn out that area, and then the most optimal thing is just kind of go.
Have you ever gone down to
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit way back. It's a tough spot for me.
I know a
It's
lot
burnt.
of the devotees in Atlanta, the big thing is book distribution. They were saying like they're really just they're running into people that are like I already met you, I already got a book, and I know they've been making trips down to Miami.
Yeah,
Wow.
nice warm spot, but it's burnt. You have different spiritual groups there too, like Narayan Maharaj's groups and so forth.
I'm
So-
originally from there, so at
Yeah.
least the Miami Temple now they're getting more brahmacharis and people to bring more life back.
Comparisons going out. Yeah, I distribute maybe 2 cases a day there. I go to Mount Rushmore and distribute 6. As much as I love the Devotees Association, it's so nectarian. You get 6 cases out. Yeah. Yes, please.
Is there like a network between book distributors about?
Set up somewhere along the way. Not too many traveling book distributors. No. Not like the old days, that's for sure.
Before, like in buses and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was running 5 buses myself with the RV, 5 vans. And then there was other groups too, trying to coordinate it all. That was really cool. But yeah, brahmacharis get married, and there's not a new crop. The new crop just goes, well, you just hang out in this temple where it's a nice prashad. You're not going to make me work. I'm not going to have to associate with this Nazi swami. It's going to force me on a book. No, I don't do it like that. But I do.
It's mostly college campuses.
Best spots are summertime. You got lots of music festivals. I can't work those anymore, but Parameswara Prabhu works those really well. So those are really great. And sneak into a festival and unleash enormous quantities of books. And those are really good in the summer, and also summer at national parks, national monuments. And then during the school time, spring and fall semesters, the universities. That's primarily what we do. It's most optimal as far as I've found so far.
So at the national parks, it seems like there's some national parks I've been to, it seems like there's more foreigners there than even people from America. So it seems like it would be a really good spot to even be global.
Yeah, that's true. Depends. Different parks are different. Like Mount Rushmore, you get more Americans probably than foreigners. But like Grand Canyon or something. Yeah. What? Yeah, you can distribute books all over the world, just staying in one spot. Yes.
What type of conversations are you having with people who are first coming into Krishna consciousness for like the first time or totally unaware?
When they come up to my table, book distribution table? Or,
when you're distributing books.
Yeah. Usually everybody's in a hurry. I don't have many conversations. I usually it's about my 1-minute spiel. I take a stack of books. I try to keep it a heartfelt thing. They feel that heartfelt thing, and that's a good impression. And I always keep maybe give them a card, myself card or somebody, the temple card, and they can always keep in touch. The real serious ones, every now and then I meet once a day, twice a day, I meet somebody super interested. And then they say, just letting you know, we offer free food and free rent. If you'd like to study with a spiritual master. And depending on the reaction, I'll get their email, their text, and I'll send them a text thing that encourages them to connect with me and everything. But rarely do people connect on their own. Very, very rarely. And it's weird, actually, how little people endeavor on their own. Seems it's kind of just like books online.
Yeah, or like reaching out to people in that way,
Oh, yeah.
like Facebook groups.
I did a fair amount of that, and it works. And I found methods that work very good. To do what I do is extremely intensive, and I found that I just don't have the energy for cultivating unless they reach out to me. I connect with people, reach out to me every now and then I get a text, and I'll work with that. Otherwise, I'll take all those contacts and I give them to somebody who cultivates them, because it's just too much for me. But when the amount of time that I did cultivate, it went great. It went shockingly wonderful. People joined. Many amazing things happened. But I've always tried to get somebody to help. But I think it's Krishna's arrangement. I mean, nobody really wants to help. They say they want to, but then they start, but then it just falls apart. Yeah. When somebody really, really wants to help, it's just practically not. Rarely anybody help, and then for only so long. That's just my experience with this. Yeah, it sounded weird, but
One more silly question.
yeah, okay.
Aside from the halava, obviously, what's the prashad dish? What's your favorite prashad dish? What's
That spinach, whatever thing with like the fine bread.
Oh, the spinach.
Spinach.
Something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
It's like,
I mean, that's
like
that's
pastry.
awesome.
Also what?
Well, yeah,
Spanish pastry thing.
but
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sure there's something else there. Lots of other things. Pizza, of course. Yeah,
So, okay.
yeah. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll think deeply.
Like, I gotta
Meditate on
go through the list one more time.
that.
Because it's obviously the halva, obviously it's prescribed, I guess. Like
Yeah.
Prabhu said, 22 pieces of halva a day. You'll be a devotee.
Fortunately, Das, I remember saying, you like halva, then you're a devotee. I'm like, oh, chai, I'm a devotee. I thought it was a demon maybe. And deep down inside, oh, that was a relief for me. I thought maybe I'm a demon. Me and my,
Wouldn't you call glutamins like coffee things?
something like that, yeah.
Kirtan introduced me to a glutamine the other day. I was like,
Yeah.
biggest little donut.
I'm here with the city.
Yeah. I don't know that world. I mean, everybody that lives in my vans, we didn't have any prashad. I never cooked. I just too much. I don't have the energy to cook after the day.
That's another question. What do you do, I guess, while you're traveling on the road for prashadam?
Have you heard of organics? I buy the granola and buy the 25-pound. I go to the store and get milk and fruit and vegetables. And then you just, that's it. Cheese on it, it almost tastes like a sandwich. You put it almost like that. And so have anything other than that, this is incredible, blissful experience. Yeah. Yeah, after 6 months of that and going here, oh man, it's been quite a treat. Yeah.
Thank you.
Say, hey, brother. Thank you for being awesome. But if there's any way anybody could even just distribute one book a week, will be a deal for the world and for yourself. To mention one book a day, maybe even one day a week, going out and distributing 10 books. That will be like such a supercharge in your spiritual life. Yeah.
Is book distribution something that has to be done by, do you have to be initiated?
No. There's no hard and fast rules, other than just try to leave people with a favorable impression. And I do recommend at some point, at least, reading the books that you distribute. Because, you can distribute books without reading them, but at some point, probably should, because people ask you, have you read this? Oh, no. That'll be an embarrassing moment. So, yeah. But it's simple to do it. Distribute books, actually. It doesn't have to be a big deal, hard, endeavorous, psychological problem thing. And yes.
So what book were you, because you're saying 5 or 6 cases, and I think the other day you distributed some Krishna books. So what are some of the, does it depend on the first thing that you see, or what kind of book that you give them? Get a feeling for it, or?
I just try to get them a whole stack, all the books, to every person. So a lot of people take the stacks, all of them. But if I wasn't at the table, I would approach people with either a perfection of yoga or a science of self-realization. And because those are 2 titles people can relate with. And that starts the ball going. But at the table, I flash the journey of self-discovery and science of self-realization. A lot of people come over because they see the science of self-realization. A big hardback, so they can see it. So if I'm out at Walmart walking around, though, I'll come out with a science of self-realization hardback, kind of gently, let them see it and then approach them. And they then, oh, that's cool. And then they want it. Yeah.
ether fishing.
But yeah, that's one thing we learned somewhere along the way, that why distribute one book when you can distribute 10 books for one person? I'm shocked as to how many people take 10 books. I mean, I'm not shocked anymore, but I was at the beginning. Yeah. And if you want to take it even to the next level, Mahotsa Prabhu, best book distributor probably this world's ever seen. He distributes sets, Srimad Bhagavatam sets, and CC sets, to strangers out on the street. Nice. That's a whole nother level, yeah.
When you say that you give them the whole set, so what do you say in terms of
At the very end of going through it all, first of all, this is the best thing to learn on book distribution. Prabhupada said it. So it comes through Parampara. Really, best thing. Prabhupada said, flatter them like anything. Those are the words. Flatter them. It's the best thing. And I try to do it genuinely, not like, okay, I just say the same thing, but genuinely. Like somebody comes up to the table, first very thing, you look like the higher conscious good vibe being. Yeah. First I say, welcome to the magic table. Like the higher conscious good vibe being or whatever seems appropriate. And we're monks trying to help the world. This is our most popular one. Teaches the best way to meditate. Self-realization. Welcome to Gita. The original knowledge on meditation. Einstein's a fan, they say. Like you got the right kind of brains to handle that. Probably like that a lot. You got the good extra IQ there. Whatever. Flatter. In a genuine way. Not that it seems like too much, but just, and they're like, wow, this guy's cool.
Mm-hmm.
They just immediately. And then I pull out the JSD inner cover picture. Eternal beings, they all got really cool pictures in them. Eternal beings we are in a temporary world, how to find true fulfillment. Srimad Bhagavatam 1 out. And people call this one the greatest book in the universe, written by an avatar 5,000 years ago. Here, and I bring out the Krishna book, and I say, and this is the best part of it. Spiritual Master says gives you the highest high, lots of colored pictures, story form, and then a little joke is good. Like, do you eat food? Yeah. Oh, cool. You got the yoga of eating also. I eat food too. And and or something along those lines. And then you don't have to do the joke part, but and then when they got the huge stack, I'll say obviously got the good vibes for this stuff. We don't sell them. Love for you take the whole stack. Usually people just take a big stack and just leave a donation to help with the printing. Okay. And sure. We do Venmo, Cash App. We do all electronic. Venmo. I say I need to change that a little bit. Venmo, Zelle, and Tap Pay. It's kind of adjusted over the years. So that's my new line, I guess. And I can break a big bill. Just let them know the options. And, but keeping it cool, like keeping that heart thing there without like latching on the money. And not that you do that, but it's easy to like stress at that point. But what's the reason for stressing? No problem. And then they just let them do that. And then if they have any issues, I'll just say, as you wish. I'm just here to help.
this is a lot of books,
What's that?
Did I say that? Well, because this is a lot of books. I really don't know what donations to give.
Oh yeah. Then when they're pulling out when they're about to like, okay, Venmo, and they start plunking in, they'll say they probably cost about literally 100. Would be, but I just been honest with it. It's about 170 in the bookstore. My cost, I'll give it twice BBT price. My cost is 45. If you can do, I'm just totally honest with it. That way my heart's clean. I don't have any issues. They don't feel anything weird. And my cost is 45. If you can do that or more, it'd be really awesome. But if you can't, you just give them a heart. Do the best you can. They give me a 20. Then I go, well, is it cool if you take them all? And I just trade you out these two in paperback, the Gita and the Science of Self-Realization. That pretty much covers my printing. You know, I'm not a money making person. I'm like, because I got free signs up on the thing. So it's free yoga and meditation books. So so I gotta, do it just right. Otherwise they get fried out. So it's available. Some people give me $10 and they want them all. I give them all. Some people give me $1 and they want them all, and I give them. Like some people, they want them all, and because they really get. I know that they're really going to read them. I give them all for free if need be. But then somebody gives me 100. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, I mean, you're like the king of you're like the legend of the free sign.
That's my specialty, I guess.
So, I mean, I know devotees who've done that, like Parameswara does that once in a while.
Rarely, yeah.
But that's the, you just like, you find that you get enough donations, you don't have any problems?
I get enough donate. I've over the last 3 years of doing it this way, I looked at how much I brought in, so forth. I covered all my costs in paying for the van and food and all the rest, insurance and parking and gas and books and shipping. And I had, I think, $3,000 left over. So it was about 1,000 extra a year. I made profit above what my costs were. But I'm like silly generous about it. So if somebody gives me a 20 for a Bhagavad Gita hard, then I'll go, you like to read? Yeah. Well, take the Krishna book too. And you like to cook? Give them a higher taste. And God knows the best way to meditate. I'll just add on a ton of books. Because I what am I going to do with money? You know? So, lots of money.
Sure.
That's the way I do it. So I'm like max it out. Feels so good.
My question is, like it's so nice that you can be traveling Sankirtan the other van. Like if someone ever wanted to start doing that, like in any case, like how did you start? Because you don't start with the van and the whole thing.
Well, actually, I started here in Dasarath. Well, I started with a bicycle, biking with a backpack full of books, to the U of A every day, on a lot of days. And that's how I started. And then Dasarath bought me this van. I think it cost him $800. And then I could cruise around from there. And then I was gonna lead a warp tour. It's like a major deal. So then I spent I think $4,000 on a deal. And then the next vehicle was a Sprinter, 20,000 used Sprinter. And the next one was a new Sprinter.
You got a used Sprinter for 20,000?
That was 20 years ago, 18 years ago. So, used Sprinter, 30,000 mile Sprinter would be like 35,000. Right? It's funny how I've gotten these incredible deals on Sprinter. One just happened right in that. Looking for Sprinters for over 2 months because we're expanding, and couldn't find one. I've really worked hard. Going to all these different websites. I probably spent, I don't know, 60 hours trying to find one. You get the best deal because I'm not a money guy. And then I'm just like, I just said, I remember just going, I give up. And seriously, this is exactly what happened. Right then and there, something just made my hands just go on the keyboard. No joke. And right there, boom. No joke. Came up. 3,000 miles. Asking $30,000 for this brand new Sprinter. 3,000 miles on it with all this nice equipment in it. That's completely unheard of. The guy put it on wrong and put the ad wrong in, so you had to tweak something to get access to it. So I ended up losing. So I found it, but then I lost it, and it took me a long time to try to get it. You had to tweak it real weird, and so I got it back, and I called him, and nobody called him. I'm like, well, I lowballed him like anything. I got that thing for like $28,000. That was practically a new Sprinter for $3,000. I mean, it's an amazing thing happened. Yeah. There's a will, there's a way.
That's the one you're driving up?
No, I brought that. That one I got a great deal. Yeah, incredible deals. I mean, phenomenal deals.
Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Is this?
Yeah, we'll finish it. I'll finish it. Well, that suite right there, that's a Mother Sundowny special. That's one of the best.
Oh,
It's like Mother Sundowny's approved.
all right.
No, like I'm ready in the whole thing. Like,
That would be very.